Good evening and welcome to a European FTB Sports Night. If you like the rest of this show, please share it. Please hit the like button. Please tell all your mates and please watch. So, good evening, Rosa, live from Tenerife.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, and passionate Real Madrid fan, yeah?
Yes, to this day and forever.
Yeah. Well, can you remember the first game you ever remember, particularly in the Champions League?
I can't remember the first one that I watched, but the first one I went to at Bernabeu for the Champions League was against Leeds Football Club.
Wow.
And Real Madrid won, I think it was 4-3.
Yeah.
So it was like 7 goals all in all. It was a fantastic game.
Wow. So there you go. That's the
Champions
Anglo-Spain relationship.
It was years and years and years ago, maybe 15, 20, something like that. It was brilliant. It was great.
Evening, Ollie. At least we're in the same boat. That your team.
It mustn't be that bad being. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it mustn't be that bad being a Real Madrid fan, Rosa, and it mustn't be that bad being a City fan, Ian. So you know,
it's the worst.
Yeah, the irony is I'm on the show, and we're not even in Europe. So yeah, just the insight.
It's just your passion for the game. This is a chance to set it aside.
Listen, Ollie, sorry, Ian knows this. When your club, the club that you love, isn't doing very well, you can only have hope for the future and you know, for things to get better. When you're at the top, the pressure is so big, and the pain of every little time you lose is awful. It's much worse to be at the top and, you know, have to be consistent up there than to just wait for something to happen and, you know, start getting better. So enjoy the ride.
We've known each other like nearly 40 years. Can you get this, Ollie? And for at least 25 of those years, Ross, Man City have been like appalling. So I've always lived in hope and dreams. And I probably promise you, Ollie, at your age, when Rosa knew me at your age, we were so much further away from the possible achievement. But Rosa, I just want to take you back to May in 2016, and I lost the picture of you with me. But you and I went to the Bernabeu, and I picked up this fabulous scarf. This was the semi-finals. It's the only half and half scarf I've ever bought. A Real Madrid, Man City semi-finals of the Champions League. And I remember being behind the goal with all that netting covering the away fans. And I was with the Real Madrid fans, and I was still jumping, and you were trying to drag me to the floor without getting beaten up and tapped in the game. And then it was City only had to score once. And Aguero, it skimmed the bar with about 3 or 4 minutes to go, and it was that close to the final. But
yeah, well, it didn't happen, and I felt really bad for you because you're going away to Madrid. And I was happy, but it was like kind of bittersweet. I don't know if I want to be in that position again.
Anyway, so the Champions League is nearly settled. Lots of games. And it was all going swimmingly well, but we'll come back to you later on this. Let's have a look. So on Tuesday evening, kicking off, and I'll allow you comments about Barcelona in a moment, Rosa, because they have some problems. Bayern Munich did their usual. Lewandowski did their usual. No problem at all. And actually, after the world's been laughing at Man United in the Premier League, and Ollie got fired, a very interesting result there. Very interesting result where United dropped Fernandes, Carrick dropped Fernandes, and played a more kind of traditional United approach. Got a lot of good pundits in the paper for playing a very sensible and committed game. United winning away at Villarreal, which is actually no mean feat these days. And finally, Sancho coming of age. And any thoughts on United's win last night? Ollie, do you want to comment on United?
I thought they were a bit lucky, to be fair. I thought Villarreal had a lot of chances, and they didn't take them. Some of them were pretty one of them, it was baffling to me how he didn't put it away. I think he needed to square it, and he didn't square it. But De Gea had the game of his life, as he always does.
Man of the match, I think he was.
Yeah, he was amazing. And then, when you've got Ronaldo on the pitch, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, that goal was just... He didn't even look up. He just instinctively knew where the keeper was. It was beautiful. And then, that was that. And they got their luck. They probably feel like they deserved, but I think they were lucky. If Villarreal had got one, I think they would have got a few more. But in tournament football, knockout stage, and in group, it doesn't really matter. Just get the 3 points on the board, and they're through. Now they can still win it. Everyone's having a laugh at Man United. They can still win it.
And United have got a new caretaker today.
He's decent as well. He's a good manager.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he came in.
He's like meant to be the godfather of flipping Klopp and Pep Guardiola and all that sort of thing.
Apparently they stole his style from him. He's almost like a Bielsa kind of figure, but he is pretty good. So I can see him doing. I'm just getting his name up. Was it Ralph Ragnick? There you go. Ralph Ragnick.
How much time they took considering Steve Bruce for the caretaker role, but there you go. Rosa, any thoughts on United winning last night?
I think that the result does not reflect what happened on the pitch, because I've only seen the highlights, extended highlights. It seemed to me Villarreal played very, very well. I think that they could have easily scored in 2 minutes into the game, and that could have changed everything. They had many, many chances. It just didn't happen. But just out of curiosity, and because of Villarreal is a very small town, you probably don't know, it's a very small town. So I was looking, their budget is a sixth of Manchester United budget this year.
As much? I thought it might be even less than that.
No, it's a sixth. So, to be where they are from a very small town with that kind of budget, I think it's very impressive. And they still have a chance. They're not completely out.
Who's the manager at Villarreal?
Emery.
Good evening.
Sorry?
Emery, the one that was...
Oh, yes, yeah, the ex-Arsenal manager.
The turn Newcastle down, yeah?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hooray, Emery, yeah.
Yeah, he turned Newcastle down because I think he's already had the hardest job in football, which was PSG.
Oh, so he knows PSG and Arsenal, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So I think that now he just wants to stay somewhere where just being in the Champions League, it's a success. It's not a lot of money, but very good players. Very good young players. Many of them, more and more, will be going to play for Spain, I'm sure.
So it's producing.
Some are already.
It's interesting, rather than going to the cauldron of Paris Saint-Germain or Arsenal or the cauldron of Newcastle, he prefers to stay in a bit of a small town in Spain, getting accolades, developing young players.
I think the experience in Paris, that's what he wants to do, definitely.
He had lost. Towards the end of Arsenal, it was pretty bleak. It wasn't going anywhere, but there's no doubt about it. He is a good manager, and it sickened me to see us get beaten by them in the Europa League. Was it last season?
Yeah.
Seems like a long time ago now. And then they went on to win it, and he likes that. He likes the Europa League.
Like I said, Villarreal they're not out yet. They have to win to Atalanta in the next leg, which isn't impossible. And they're through.
Interesting. And we'll come to the leagues a little bit later. Let's go on to Wednesday night, and then we can spend quite a bit of time looking at the Champions League so far, because there's qualifiers all the way through. So of the British teams, or the English teams really, because it's only England, you've got City that will come on to 2-1 against Paris Saint-Germain. Wow. And I'll expand on this, but it is the best I've ever seen Man City play. I have no hesitation. Without probably their three best players, it was an unbelievable performance. Atletico, which we'll come on to a little bit later, they are looking out, dead, buried. Liverpool, an really efficient performance. We'll talk about them a little bit. Another solid performance by Liverpool. Thiago, I think, scored I've read about it. I didn't watch the game. Scored a really good goal. Finally, someone was likening him to Paul Scholes in the press today. So maybe I'm eating my words about Thiago, because I thought he didn't have what. Well, I've always thought he didn't quite have what it had for the Premier League in terms of pace and aggression, but maybe the Champions League is his level.
He had a great game against us on the weekend.
Yeah. So maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe I'm wrong. Really interesting. We'll come up onto target at Ajax. Ajax miles top of their group every season. They must have a budget not far different to Villarreal, Rosa. And then coming down, finally, and we'll come on to it. You can tell us all about it. Real Madrid did win away at Sheriff. You can tell us where Sheriff is after, and I have to remind it, all the press was saying when these Sheriff guys won in the Bernabeu, in the new Bernabeu. I think it was the first Champions League game in the new Bernabeu, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Said it was the biggest surprise in the history of the Champions League.
It was shocking. It was just terrible, Yeah,
Here's the team from last night. Courtois, who we know. So this is a pretty strong team against those Sheriff guys. I mean, that's pretty much a full-strength team, isn't it? With Cruz, Casemiro, and Modric in midfield. That's a strong midfield. In fact, that's strong all the way. And I'd also like your comments about David Alaba has been likened to the new Sergio Ramos. Last bit, and then I'm going to hand it to you. The stats there: 70% possession for Real Madrid, 17 shots. However, those Sheriff boys did get 12 shots away, and 5 of them were on target. All yours, Rosa. Tell us about the game.
Sheriff started very, very strong. The first 20 minutes, they started dominating, but lost it over the first 20 minutes. But they could have scored. They were very hungry. Obviously, they thought they had a chance because of what happened in Bernabeu, which was just a matter of underestimating them big time, which you cannot do at the Champions League. You can't afford to underestimate.
Where are they from again? Remind us where they're from.
They're from a region of Moldavia that have declared themselves independent from Moldavia. Whether they are or not, I don't know.
How did they get into the Champions League?
Through Moldavia.
Okay. They were the rep.
It is what it is.
Surely they must have had to qualify, because like when Rangers and South Rangers, they had to qualify and didn't they? So they must have come through that.
Yeah, these guys have qualified, and apparently the club and the country, if you consider it a country, belongs to an ex-KGB that have become a millionaire somehow.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I like that.
Maybe that's why we lost at Bernabeu. We didn't want any trouble with the KGB.
So
a few backhanders, Yeah, let us win. All right, we'll give you $1 million.
So,
Rosa, it was like when we were reading about Shakhtar Donetsk, and Shakhtar Donetsk are backed by a questionable Russian oligarch, aren't they? And now Sheriff are backed by some ex-KGB guys.
That's what they do. They just go and buy these clubs. But also, I think that he owns the television, and I don't know whether he's the prime minister or he's very high politician in that country. He's basically running the country. This one guy.
And living the dream.
Yeah, they've got very young players who obviously yesterday wanted to show their best side because they knew the world was looking at them, especially after the result of the first leg. And they started very, very strong. They had a few chances, and I was like fearing the worst. But, at the end of the day, Real Madrid would take no chances yesterday. They did what they had to do. The lineup was the lineup except for Rodrigo. Rodrigo, I think that Ancelotti is 100% behind him. Zidane, definitely, he wasn't his kind of player. And he did well.
Where did Rodrigo come from?
Oh, he comes from Rome.
Yeah.
But then, in second half, into the second half, he was. They changed him for Asensio, who, also deserves a chance. Obviously, Rodrigo is much younger, he's fresh, and is doing well. The question is what is going to happen to him if and when Hazard is back in form.
Yeah.
Has he ever been in form for Real Madrid?
No, not at Real Madrid, 100% no. But before that, yes, he was. That was the point, wasn't it?
I hear Gareth Bale is even less popular than he's ever been in his life before, having gone out there and got his 100th cap for Wales and come back injured again.
To be honest, I don't think he's even remembered or thought of as part of our game. He's just probably a Real Madrid treasurer. Every time he's got to pay his wages, he thinks of him. But other than that, if you ask me, he's not part of the team. He's an employee of the club, but he's not part of the team, for sure.
What about Dani Ceballos, Rosa?
Ceballos?
Yeah. Does he get in the team anymore?
No, he isn't. He's good. He's very, very good, Ceballos. I'm 100%. The thing about Real Madrid, we've got those 11 are fantastic. But if you look at the bench and you've got like Valverde, he's a fantastic player that isn't playing enough. Isco plays well when he wants to play. So it's not just those 11, which Ancelotti is now consolidating as a first team, because obviously we're getting results both in the Liga and the Champions League. But there's other options, and there's other players that can do just as well. So I'm very confident and happy this year. And we went to Trinistria, which is a long, long way away. I don't think they've got an international airport there even. And just
who we got at the weekend, because that was a hell of a team to put out for a midweek game in goodness knows where, who don't even have an airport. Right.
I'll tell you, because it's
while you're having a look, Ollie, don't Arsenal want Dani Ceballos back?
No. I think we got Odegaard, so it was kind of like we'll take Odegaard.
Oh, sorry. Next
That's right.
Weekend, it's Seville.
Oof, so
it's a tough one.
Seville played over the last few days.
Seville played to Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg, Tuesday, I think.
Yeah. And they're
in third place as well. Third place, Sevilla.
Did they lose?
Where are they?
They won to Wolfsburg.
Okay. Away. So they've got to come back.
No, in Seville.
At home.
I think so, yeah. They won for sure.
Okay, cool. Anything else to add on Real Madrid's performance? You were just pretty darn happy and satisfied, and we'll come to the groups in a bit, yeah?
Well, we just have to play Inter. There's a chance that we won't end top of the group, that we definitely want to. So it's not all decided. We need to go. We need to have this final game with Italians. See how that one goes.
Cool. Right. Well, Man City. What can I say about last night? Firstly, I'd have loved to have gone. The Etihad was absolutely buzzing, totally full. If anybody is doubting that, absolutely rocking. Enough for Pep to actually make a statement about how good it was today. Kind of repeated his words from last time. So apparently it was a really buoyant atmosphere, and you could hear it on the TV. But you look at the team straight away, and there is no Kevin De Bruyne, of course, who's got COVID. We've Foden, who has an injury he's picked up, and also Jack Grealish. So you've got three, I'd argue, the best players at Man City not playing, and yet you've got a pretty strong Paris Saint-Germain team. However, you'd got Verratti, Icardi on the bench, and Sergio Ramos. So some quite influential bench players there. Oh, and Di Maria didn't come on. So I think that's still a really strong team. I thought Marquinhos again played wonderfully. There was some incredible performances. But I just wanted to look at the stats of the game coming on. I mean, it was an even game. It felt like City had more possession. City at 54%, Paris Saint-Germain at 46%. But Man City, 16 shots, 6 on target, 7 corners, and a few fouls. But I just thought City knocked the ball well at pace. There was some triangles, interchanges that were just incredible. The pass by Bernardo for the final goal. Bernardo was just player of the game. And I thought City were dominant. Even when, I got they missed so many chances in the first half. They just wouldn't go in. They hit the post. There was so much energy. And I did fear. And when then Paris Saint-Germain scored, a bit of me thought, oh, God, they've hit us a sucker punch. But to be fair, the character to come back, to equalise, to win, and then just dominate the game out, I just thought was just amazing. Bernardo Silva, man of the match. Ever since he's been questioned in the team, he's come back. Even Pep's psychology is starting to work on Raheem Sterling. Have you noticed, again, talking about leaving, and after he does that, then, suddenly he's playing much better. Did you watch Ollie?
I saw the highlights. I was following the game because I had a bet on it, and I needed Atletico.
What did you bet?
I was an accumulator, and I needed Atletico Madrid to win, and I would have won quite a lot, but they didn't win, unfortunately.
City were up for a win with you.
I put City down to win, so that was great. It was a close game, but then saying that, both teams missed so many chances. Some of the Man City ones, it hit the post twice, I think, and there were a few sitters that you would have wanted to take, and then obviously PSG just went and got a goal, kind of against the run of play, even though they had a few chances. But it was almost like what City needed, because then they just kind of came to life, and it was like, I think it was his second goal, that ball from Mahrez when he just cuts it back across. This is beautiful football.
It wasn't quite as beautiful as the João Cancelo pass at the weekend, which was just, that pass on the outside of the foot just took my breath away. But there was some amazing play, play.
I think City. That's it. They don't even need a striker. It's just perfect. And any other team that try and set up like they do, they won't be able to do it, because it's a niche in the way that they do it. It's just in the way that Liverpool have their way of playing. City's is beautiful, and you can't not say City aren't one of the greatest teams of the world at the moment, because they've just gone and beaten that front three, and they pretty much kept them pretty quiet as well. There was a few chances, but
Kyle Walker got lots of plaudits last night. Almost like a gladiator. When you see Tyson Fury in some of the box and they'll put their hands behind the back and go, "Come on, hit me if you can." It was kind of like that for Kyle Walker. He was almost, come on, run against me. I want to show you up. And I'm waiting for him to slow down, because he's 31 next birthday. But boy, he pocketed of all of them. I thought it was quite a clever move that Pep Guardiola rested Ruben Diaz at the weekend, playing Stones and Laporte. Clever, because he looked really fresh and commanding as well.
Yeah, it upsets me when he does that, though, because I had Diaz in my dream team. So it's just like,
you'll get plenty.
You never know when he's going to play or not, and it's upsetting, especially when you got him in your dream team. But what are you going to do? Yeah.
It could be worse. You could have picked Nathan Aki, but there you go. Rosa, did you watch the game?
I've only watched the highlights. I wanted to, but I wasn't 100% sure that these sheriffs weren't going to do something. So, I had to watch it all the time.
That was the more important game, the sheriff game.
But what I've watched, and the Spanish press here, they're all talking about Mahrez more than anyone else in Manchester City.
Mahrez?
Yeah, they said that it was definitely, the key man to the victory was Mahrez. And what I've seen, the way he moves the ball, and I think he played fantastic.
I wondered whether he was playing there was a little bit of shop window about Mahrez's performance. Surely he's the sort of player with Di Maria, about 3 or 4 years older than him now, that Paris Saint-Germain would aspire to. And I think he's a wonderful gifted player.
City would let him go.
He's 30 years old now, and he has a classic performance. Basically, he plays on the right. He always cuts in from the left, and then he always tries to bend the ball in from the left. And I think that's becoming a little less effective, his game. And it's never really been about pace. It's been about, craft. And I think his sort of game has more longevity as a club like Paris Saint-Germain in the French division that probably does in the intensity of the Premier League. His style of play, just my view. He's not an all pace, all action. And at 30, I think that he's coming into the twilight zone for his style of play. And yet, he could probably play till he's 35 at Paris Saint-Germain.
What did you think? What did you think of Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi? Because I haven't heard anything about them over here.
They had moments. They had moments. They had just.
It's not working like it should with those names. Something's missing there.
Well, the big comment is none of the three of them defend, and how on earth can you win? You certainly they'd be in the bottom half of the Premier League with three attackers that don't defend. I think it was interesting when Carrick chose not to play Fernandes and Ronaldo last night, and when they just on Tuesday, and when they just played Ronaldo, the team were more effective. Now, if you've got to put all three of those, and all three of them aren't really defending, you've fundamentally got 8 defenders, not 11, when the opposition are coming at you. And I think that's it's they don't work hard enough.
You're right. You're totally right.
They've got a good newish left back. It was interesting. He was good going forward, but he looked naive going back as well. So even though Marquinhos is a fantastic central defender, they're not a totally solid outfit. Any other thoughts?
No, that I think that if PSG don't win this year the Champions League with those three and everything that's behind them, maybe there's hope for football, and it's not all about the money.
Perhaps.
It depends who wins it, Rosa.
we do have to congratulate Liverpool. A cracking performance again. Apparently, I didn't watch the game. The Thiago goal was really good. He had another great game. Olly, you said he played well against you. Perhaps I'm wrong. The pundits were, likening him to Paul Scholes-like performance last night. I didn't think he'd have the physicality, the pace to last the Premiership. Clearly, I'm not saying he has the fitness because he's forever injured, but maybe when he's injury-free, maybe he has got it. Do you think, Ollie?
I think he's coming back now. I think if he doesn't get injured again, I think he's going to have a good season. It's very upsetting, the kind of wealth of world-class midfielders they have at Liverpool and in their prime as well. But it doesn't even matter. They can just interchange any midfielder in that three, and, world class. And it was a beautiful goal. It was like a golf shot. It was beautiful. Like that's just, you just love to see that. And if I have to say, I think if I put Liverpool to win it, really, I just think they had an off season last season, but now they're just back to the best.
Have we ever had a stronger English contingent than Chelsea as they are now, City as they are now, Liverpool, and I don't believe that United are quite at that stage. But if you look at that trio, I know Rosa would bet against them, but would you, Ollie?
No. I think other than Man United, but then I think Man United are going to come back into it with their new manager, and they've got a great squad. So I just feel they've got a new manager coming in. It looks on the cards again, but we'll wait and see. But Chelsea, Liverpool, City.
Let's have a quick look at where we're at so far. Look at that at Chelsea. They put 4 past Juventus. What a humiliation for Juventus. Juventus, that must really hurt back in Turin for Juventus. But those two have got. They're through. Chelsea and Juventus are through. It's just a question of who's first. But Chelsea look like it's nailed on. Seville could easily overcome Salzburg and Lille. So there's everything to play for in that other group. But Chelsea, wow, they look so solid. Let's have a look at Real Madrid, Rosa. So it was looking incredibly dodgy at one stage. I remember you were messaging me thinking, we're not going to go through the last 16. We're not. But now Real Madrid and Inter are through. It's just a question of who's first, yeah?
Yeah. It's just decisive. We need to win. We need to win that one. And it's at home, so, we could.
Well, hang on a second. Sheriff, 2 wins. Who else did they beat?
Yeah.
Who did they beat? Shakhtar or Inter?
Shakhtar.
Well, backhanders, man. They won 2 games.
They're not terrible. They're not terrible.
Sheriff will go into the Europa League then, if they can. Yeah. Well, it looks like they will, yeah.
Weren't they leading against Inter at one stage as well? I can't remember. I thought they might have been.
Crazy. But, Sheriff all the way.
Sheriff. No, we're going to hear a lot about Sheriff.
And you've got to hand it, Ajax absolutely storming, top team. Again, we talked about Villarreal maybe having a 6th of Man United's budget. Then Ajax can't have much more than Villarreal. They keep churning and turning the young players. Tag Hag. Does he make watches as well? But
I think he does. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good watches.
They think he's going to United next season when this caretaker guy, the German guy, goes upstairs. But bloody hell, I mean, his track record is incredible at Ajax. When they did get to the semi-final, I think Spurs beat them, didn't they? And then they lost 3 of their best players.
That was embarrassing.
3 of the best players and Van der Beek. So they've lost most of their top players, and they're still smashing their group.
Weak group though. It wasn't as hard as the other groups.
Yeah,
it was maybe an easier one.
City going to go through his group leaders. Liverpool absolutely smashed the ball out of the park, no problem. It's Bayern Munich, etc. in the other groups, but it's the usual suspects, I suppose. There's nobody who's going to be a surprise last 16, is there?
I think that the surprise may be who isn't in the last 16.
You mean
Barcelona?
Yes, actually, it didn't have that league table. Barcelona, Atletico, 2 Spanish casualties, Rosa. Does that highlight the weakness of La Liga?
Possibly. I think that La Liga ruled European football for a number of years, and now it's England. Barca is, there's no doubt, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world in terms of history and everything they have achieved. But it's been managed very, very badly. They're bankrupt. And not only that, it's just that they brought Xavi, like the savior, and his first and only decision so far is to bring Alves back. And that's all he had in his mind for the last 5 years while he's wanted to be the manager of Barcelona.
Yeah, I think that's a bit sarcastic, but yeah.
No, really. That's all he's done.
Maybe he's their voice. His voice in the changing rooms. He's a character. He'll get some energy going, but we'll see. They've got some great young talent.
Exactly. I was going to say he doesn't relate at all to these young talents that they're now in the dressing room. Alves is not really a figure that they're looking up to and, I'm playing with this guy, he's motivating me or anything like that. And there's so much talent and the young players there like Pedri and Gavi.
Yeah.
They're the very best of Spain. There's no question.
Because
somehow it's just not coming.
Pedri's up for. I always think it's a very strange title. When you have the Ballon d'Or, they have the best boy or something, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds a bit weird to me, but they have the top boy or whatever they call it. And I think he's booking his favourite for top boy. Sounds like a Eurovision Song Contest, but well, there you go. But yeah,
they've got good players. Obviously, they can't afford to sign anyone because there's no money there. Somehow,
they make loads of noise. We're going to sign Raheem Sterling. Yeah, with what? With what? What? You aren't getting money.
Exactly.
It's the equivalent of Stockport County saying they're going to sign Mo Salah.
It's so it's very sad because I think that obviously Barca deserves to be there in the last 16 and the last 8, and it's not going to happen. And Spain would be ultimately underrepresented. I think that even though La Liga is not now the top competition in Europe, there is talent here and there's competition, and I wouldn't mind for Barca to go through. But in their current situation, I think they need years, not just this season, but maybe 2-3 more before they get back to what they were.
Cool. I'm going to read some comments. Go on, some quick comments.
No, go through the comments.
And then anyone else watching, comment away. So
you go through the comments.
Errol, I think, good evening, gents, from Errol. Hey, our Amy, loving the European special. That's Amy Shaw. That's my daughter. And 9083, enjoying the chat, guys. Keep me entertaining while I'm working late. Hello, sir.
That's my friend Linton. He's usually on my show, so it's good to see.
Cool. Sorry, Ollie, you were going to say.
I was going to say, this is the thing that upsets me about the Champions League, obviously being an Arsenal fan and being in the Europa League for the last however many seasons, is they still have that chance to drop down into Europa, and then you probably wouldn't bet against them winning Europa, which I think is always a bit unfair, because, you know, you do the hard work, you come through top, and then all of a sudden Atletico Madrid are dropping down into Europa, and you're like, oh, come on, like, what chance? Not saying that, you know,
no,
but they shouldn't be rewarded for coming third. I don't think that's a fair, fair thing.
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Because Leicester or West Ham, they're doing really well, and then, you know,
West Ham won again tonight. They're through as group winners. Leicester were winning last time I looked.
Exactly.
Without do you want to make a comment about Spurs? Any comment? You can cut.
I'll just say to Knightsy, mate, I enjoyed seeing that result come in, and it's not even Europa League; it's the conference. So,
explain to me. I've lost it, Ollie. Is it 2 different tournaments, the Europa League and the conference, or do they merge?
Two totally
completely different tournaments.
Yeah. One's
conference. What's the conference?
You've got the Europa League and the Europa Conference, because Spurs are in the conference and not doing very well in that. So there's actually 3 European tournaments.
I don't know anything about that.
I know, yeah, me by as well.
It's we nearly got into it, but Spurs got in instead. Knightsy's left some more comments there, Ian.
So what's more important? He's a Europa League. What's more important? I will say that Barca are reaping what they sow. Years of overspending. I agree. I mean, bloody hell, Coutinho, 145 million pounds. You've got to be out of your mind. And Dembele, who's never ever played, was 100 million pounds. And I think there was some more craziness. It's still Europe. Well, I suppose
there
so.
You go.
Yeah.
It's still Europe. You're right, Linton.
Can't you imagine it though? If Spurs manage to go through, they might play Sheriff.
Wow.
No,
because Sheriff will be in Europa League. They won't be in the conference. But you know, I put my money on Sheriff winning Europa League. I mean,
so who dropped into the conference?
No one.
Spanish group. No one.
I don't think anyone drops into the conference. It just is the conference.
So that's like the wooden spoon of Europe.
Yeah.
There is no Spanish team in this conference. That's why I've never heard about it.
I mean, Roma are in it, and obviously Spurs are, but there's not really many. Oh, hang on. Linton's just said they do drop down, I think. So.
Omonia.
Third
place Europa. There we go.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So the Europa dropped to the conference. I got it. So the Champions League.
It's a trickle down.
Yeah. Champions League dropped to Europa, and the third place Europa dropped to the conference.
But it's Roma. Roma are in the conference.
Yeah. So that's like the only name, and Spurs. The only 2 names are recognized.
Yeah, it's going to be them 2 in the final, and then it's going to be Jose versus Spurs, and I think it should be quite good. Although I feel that
I'll watch that. I'd watch that.
Anyway, this is the Champions League show. We shouldn't be talking about the conference.
Okay. But just to wrap it up, Rosa, what do you think? City playing Real Madrid. Could it happen?
It could happen. I hope that this time is the final and not the semi-final. And, for City to get to the final again will be just fantastic.
I'd love it. So, one more comment from Dante the cat. My cat said he enjoyed the game. He's looking forward to the last 16. And lastly, the last thought, really, question to both. Will Pep ever win the Champions League with City? Ollie, answer that one.
I'm gonna say no. I don't. I think Liverpool and Chelsea. I just think they're better in that tournament. They know how to win it. But for you, Ian, I hope City win it. For you, only because I know you and I like you. But
that train is gone.
Yeah, I mean,
Rosa, come on. There I was at the Bernabeu for the semi-final in 2016, and for a whisker of the ball passing the bar from poor old Sergio Aguero, we would have had a final, at least a second final. Can they do it, Rosa?
You can. I'm saying I think that for City, making it to the final is enough for now. And if City has to win the Champions League one day, I'd rather it's not with Pep, I've got to say.
But I actually thought if they were ever going to win it last season was the chance. Chelsea weren't as good as they are now. Tuchel had only just got hold of them. City should have walked it. If only bloody Pep had played one defensive midfielder. I mean, I've never seen a game all season. There's never been a game all this season we haven't played a defender, either Rodri or Fernandinho. So why on earth, in the only game in 2 years, did he make the decision and not play with a defensive midfielder? And N'Golo Kante just ruled the park.
He overthought it. Tuchel got the better up here, and then it just, Don't worry, Arteta does that a lot.
It's a case of self-boycott, completely. It's all in his mind, like you're saying.
Okay. Thank you both. Maybe
hold up a second, though. Can I ask Rosa a question?
Yeah.
So, Rosa, do you think that Real Madrid can win the Champions League?
Yes.
Yes.
Really?
And I don't.
Can they? Yes. Will they? I don't know.
So you put that team up, right? That team up Ian put up earlier, and I would say that it doesn't fill me with.
I agree.
With confidence. I mean, there's some decent players in there, but
there's not much at the back.
No.
I agree. It's not the best lineup of Real Madrid in the last 25 years, or even in the last 5 years. I agree. But the question is, do I think they can win? I know they can, because it's like with Pep, but reverse. It's a state of mind.
It's not like you didn't win it 3 times in a row as well. I mean,
Ancelotti's got this state of mind. He's won it before. We can do it again with Benzema and any other 10. We can do it. Yeah.
I like that, Rosa. I like that.
I think there's obviously very strong contenders. Chelsea, to me, is. I'm sorry, Ian.
No, Rosa, I've got a question for you then. Can Real Sociedad with David Silva win La Liga?
No, they can't, because
it would be a great story. Though,
it'd be nice. It'd be nice.
It would be a lovely story.
It could be very nice. I like Real Sociedad, and I love Silva, so why not? Yeah. if we win the Champions League, I'll give them the Liga. It's no problem with that.
So you'd rather take Champions League over the Liga?
Yeah. That's our competition.
No, you've got to go. No. You've got to go to the league every time. Surely.
No, I mean,
it's all about consistency.
If you ask 1,000 Real Madrid supporters, they'll all tell you the same.
Okay, Ian, what would you prefer, Champions League or League?
The Premier League, I think.
There you go.
No, I'd like both.
There's levels of aspirations. There's levels of aspirations.
The Spanish in general are a little bit more European than we are.
No, it doesn't come out of the European spirits. I think that obviously Champions League is the top competition, is the best of every country.
But Sheriff were in it, remember?
When it gets to the last 16, it is.
Real Madrid have messed it big time with clubs like that before.
Yeah. I mean, I can't speak because I'm rinsing Linton for the Europa Conference. But if you said to me right now, would you be happy if Arsenal won the Europa Conference? I'd be over the moon. I'd be well happy with that. I don't care. For me, if it's a trophy, I couldn't care less. So, yeah.
There you go.
That's
right. I think we should wrap it up there. Rosa, thank you so much. Maybe see you in the first of the last 16s then, yeah?
Yeah. But anytime we win, I'm happy to come.
Ollie,
on.
Who Spurs got the weekend?
I'm not sure. I know we've got Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You have to ask Linton. See if he messages. I don't know.
Yeah, Arsenal.
We got Newcastle at home.
Newcastle. So, oh yeah, you might be in better spirits then. You might be in better.
New manager bounce though. See, this is what upsets me with the Man United thing. They've got a new manager now, and the first game he's going to play is against us. Just like Eddie Howe's, it always happens to Arsenal. Always the new manager bounce.
Arsenal are playing really well though. They're playing well. Keep the faith, yeah. Adios. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So if you like tonight's show, please share it. Please tell your mates. Please pass it on. Adios.